Good morning, Year 2. Welcome to our next writing lesson. It's our last lesson before we'll be back in school together, which we're so looking forward to. Let's begin our lesson by imitating our story. So remember to be loud, speak clearly, and use actions as you go.
Storm unicorns. The storm unicorn is a type of unicorn that is very rare. Physical appearance. A storm unicorn has the body of a horse and a long horn. Full stop. The horn usually has a spiral shape and sticks out from the middle of the head. Full stop. Most are a beautiful ebony colour with flashes of gold and silver that look like lightning. Full stop. As a storm unicorn moves, it sends out showers of tiny electric splinters. Full stop. Habitats. Like the common unicorn, the storm unicorn lives in forests. Full stop. They are very shy and therefore not often seen. Full stop. During the daytime, they sleep under bushes or curled up amongst ferns. Full stop. At night, the storm unicorn emerges and, if you're lucky, can be seen in the moonlit pools. Full stop. Diet. Storm unicorns have a fairly limited diet. Full stop. In the main, they live on leaves, grass, and other forms of vegetation. Full stop. However, they can be tempted with apples, and some have even been found to eat sugar lumps. Full stop. If you find a storm unicorn, you must never, ever feed it potatoes, as they are allergic to them and it will make them seriously ill. Full stop. Fun facts. The last known sighting of a storm unicorn was in 1673 by a man called Dr. Dapper, who claimed that he saw one whilst walking in the woods, but he could not prove it. Full stop. The most amazing thing about storm unicorns is that if you meet one, it can bring you great luck. Full stop. For this reason, many people hope to catch a glimpse of the most beautiful, fiery creature. Full stop.
So today we are learning to use additional details to explain facts. So we're going to understand what additional details do, and then we're going to use additional details when writing about rainbow unicorns. So let's start with our star words. Facts. Facts is real, true information. Detail. Detail is when we get really specific and we give lots of description. And description. So when we give details, it explains facts and makes them more interesting. Lots of what we do in our writing is about making things stand out and be effective and hook the reader, and we want to make it as interesting as possible. So here we go. Let's read this sentence to begin with. Plenty of rainbow unicorns are very strong, which helps them carry very heavy loads. Now, my fact here is that plenty of rainbow unicorns are very strong. Then I've used one of my conjunctions, which, to explain the detail, which helps them to carry very heavy loads. So it's explaining my fact. Let's look at another one. Interestingly, many rainbow unicorns only sleep on top of ferns. That's my fact. Many rainbow unicorns only sleep on top of ferns. Then I've used my conjunction because to explain it and give detail. Because the dust makes their skin itch. Now, I've got two examples here. The first one says the last known sighting of a storm unicorn was in 1673 by a man called Dr. Dapper. The second says the last known sighting of a storm unicorn was in 1673 by a man called Dr. Dapper, who claimed that he saw one whilst walking in the woods, but he couldn't prove it. I want you to pause the video and decide which one is the fact and which one is the fact with detail. Okay, so I want you to pause it and read it and see if you can explain why you think that you have your answer. Pause me now. Okay, here's our answer. The first one was the fact, and the second one was the fact with detail. So our fact was that the last known sighting was in 1673 by a man called Dr. Dapper. But the detail that we added was when we said that he claimed that he saw one whilst walking in the woods, but he couldn't prove it. That makes it far more interesting to the reader because we're given detail, we can imagine it that much more. And it brings the fact to life. Right, our steps in our writing today are to have our subheading, then we're going to write a surprising fact, and then we're going to explain the fact with details. So let's have a think of some ideas about what a surprising fact could be. You may want to say that, again, when we want to use our generalizers when we're doing these facts, because we're going to give that detail and add extra information that maybe some rainbow unicorns aren't like this. So we want to say most of them, or plenty of them, or lots of them, and then our fact. An example could be that they have a differently coloured pattern, every single one. Or maybe we would say that the majority of them can speak 6 different unicorn languages. The second point we're going to make is explain the fact with details. So we're going to use our bank of different conjunctions here and maybe say, because of this, people try to take photos of each one. We're talking about their different coloured patterns. If we're talking about the second one, which was the fact that they speak 6 different languages, we might want to say this helps them, or which helps them find out where jelly beans are hiding so they don't eat them, because remember, they're allergic to them. Okay, if you want this screen whilst you're writing, I recommend that you've got your 3 steps, generalizers and conjunctions, but I'm going to model how we can do our writing first. Let's go. Okay, so now I've got my date and my steps of success here, but remember my first one is to write my subheading. So I want to say this subheading is called Fun Facts. Again, starting it on the left of the page. And my subheadings are underlined. And then in this next part, I'm going to explain a fun fact. So the first thing I want to do is say a surprising fact. Now I want to say how rainbow unicorns have different coloured patterns. So I'm going to actually write that as, to hook the reader again, I'm going to use an exciting sentence starter of did you know? Because I bet they didn't know this. Did you know all rainbow unicorns have differently coloured patterns? And again, because that's a question, I'm asking them that, I will need to finish it with a question mark. So let me write that. Did you know that all rainbow unicorns have differently coloured patterns? 2S for differently, tall T and Y, coloured, Really be careful with our spellings. Patterns. And I'm going to say patterns because there's more than one. And I finish that with a question. Now I can write and explain my fact with details to really make it very interesting to the reader. So for this reason, I want to say, many people are desperate to photograph this remarkable animal. So I'm explaining it. I'm not adding another fact, I'm explaining this one. So I'm going to say, for this reason, or because of this, or so that, and you can use your bank of different words there. I'm going to say, because for this reason, or because of this, many people are desperate to photograph this remarkable animal, because each one has a different pattern. So, because of this, I'm going to say, because of this, I'm going to have that as a comma because this is a phrase which I'm beginning it with, introducing the main part of the sentence. So I'm going to separate it with a comma just like I do with an adverbial sentence starter. Because of this, many people, and this is a fact that I think the reader will find interesting, because if I think about my fact file, people are going to be reading this wanting to learn more about them, and they might be people who want to photograph it themselves. Many people are, I'm going to use a really great verb, desperate. That really describes how they're feeling, desperate to photograph now my f sound is the PH, both at the beginning and the end of photograph, if you want to write about that as well. This, and let's describe the animal, the rainbow unicorn. I want to say this remarkable, comma, unique animal. This remarkable, comma, to separate my two adjectives, unique animal. Lovely. Full stop at the end. Let me go back and see how I've done. So, did you know that all rainbow unicorns have differently coloured patterns? So that's my surprising fact, but written as a question. So I need a question mark. Then I'm going to explain it with details. Because of this, comma, many people are desperate to photograph this remarkable, comma, unique animal. Full stop. There we go, fantastic. We can't wait to see how you end your fact file with a fun fact. Good luck, Year 2.